Hey guys, welcome back and happy Tuesday. All right, guys, well, we have some Real Housewives of Orange County updates because Tamra Judge is reacting to claims that the cast does not want to film with her. And also, she's saying that Vicki will probably never be asked back due to the fact that, well, she's now launching a podcast with Kelly Dodd. I have some opinions on this, but before we jump in, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And with that, let's jump right in.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
All right, guys, so it looks like Tamra Judge is reacting to claims from an alleged insider that was saying that the cast is refusing to film with her. They were claiming that pretty much the cast didn't want to film with her because of things that she said about them on the podcast, Two Teas in a Pod with Teddi Mellencamp, and they are pretty much just putting out false information. At least that's what Tamra's saying. Tamra responded after a claim came out from a fan that was posted on Bravo and Cocktails, and it said a certain OC's housewives return hasn't been as smooth as she thought it would be. And they didn't name her. They said that the cast hates her and does not want to film with her. She hosted a dinner where she planned to out all of them for things that they've said about her exit, but she was met with a mountain of comments that she's made in the press, on her podcast, and on her social media about the cast. The production, they brought in newbies for her to film with because the OG cast really doesn't want to deal with her. They're not interested in filming with her. They don't trust her, nor do they like her. It's flopping hard. She may have Judge in her name, but she's the one who's on trial. And Tamra said complete lies with an emoji being like, what the hell are you talking about? Which I don't think that there's any truth to this. I think that, yes, they brought in a newbie. The newbie is friends with Tamra Judge, also friends with Bronwyn and Noella. That doesn't mean anything, but, yes, they brought in a newbie, sure, but she's still friends with Taylor Armstrong. I think that she will be able to get back in with Heather Dubrow and Shannon Bedore if she wants to, or she might plan a takedown. Who knows how she's going to navigate this? Because Tamra Judge has been very open about the fact that, listen, after watching my time on the show and taking a break from the show, I see how I navigated it before, and I have a completely different perspective, especially when talking about these different Housewives franchises on Two Teas in a Pod. And other Tamra Judge news, thanks to Reality Blurb, the Real Housewives of Orange County star reacted to Vicki Gunvalson, doing this podcast with Kelly Dodd. And as fans may have heard, Kelly revealed that she and Vicki are launching a new show on her and Rick Leventhal's series, The Rick and Kelly Show. Vicki wants to do a show with me, and I told her, yeah, that would be great. And we were thinking about names, so if you guys could maybe write me with that, like what you think a good show name would be, please go ahead and do that. And shortly thereafter, during the August 18th episode of her podcast, Two Teas in a Pod, well, Tamra responded to a fan who asked her how she felt about, Vicki and Kelly ripping off her podcast idea. I don't know if it's ripping it off. It depends what the podcast is about. I don't think that it's necessarily ripping it off, because here's the thing. We have Melissa Gorga on Display podcast, Heather Dubrow's World podcast, Bethany Frankel has a podcast, Two Teas in a Pod, that's a podcast. We're all talking about the, different housewife shows. Yes, they have a different perspective because they film the shows, but it's not ripping off an idea. That's like, I don't agree with that. I don't know if they're ripping off our podcast idea because I don't know what they will be talking about. This is what Tamra's saying. Vicki said that, she always said, I don't want to do that kind of podcast that you do because I don't watch all of these shows. So I don't know if something's changed. All right. So we don't know what the show's about. Then when her podcast host, Teddi Mellencamp, wondered if the podcast would be the official nail in the coffin for either of them ever coming back, Tamra, who speaks regularly about the Real Housewives franchises on their show, said it probably would. Probably for Vicki, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. It all depends what the podcast is about and how they do it. Listen, at the end of the day, I think there's a little hypocrisy here. I love Tamra Judge, but if you really break this down, Tamra and Teddi do a podcast and they talk about the housewives. Heather Dubrow talked about how she doesn't see a world where Tamra could ever return because she does a podcast about the housewives, which was hypocritical because Heather Dubrow also talks about the housewives on her podcast. So I didn't get her point. And it seemed like she was trying to kind of stand in the way of a Tamra Judge return, which obviously did not work out. But now Tamra and Teddi kind of claiming that this could be the official nail in the coffin for Vicki or Kelly. I don't agree with that. because they're doing the exact same thing. So how would that be the nail in the coffin? And that's what I wanted to ask you guys. And when it comes to this claim that Tamra's saying it's a complete lie, I don't agree with that either. I don't think that the women are trying not to film with Tamra. First of all, you usually don't have a choice. I mean, there are some times when you can get out of filming with someone, yes, and there could be like a mutiny amongst the group. But Bravo was very excited about Tamra making her return. Shannon Beador also said, I can't wait for her to film. So I don't really see there being this mutiny. I think that this is just BS. Right now they're filming and we don't have a lot of information. So they're trying to spread misinformation. Not Bravo and Cocktails. I'm not bashing them, but I'm saying whoever posted this in the first place, this like blind item where they're not naming the OG housewife, which really technically she's not even an OG, but she's been on long enough. She's not. What I mean by that is she hasn't been on since the first season. Vicki Gunvalson is technically an OG housewife, but I want to hear your opinions. I want to hear your unfiltered opinions. What do you think about Tamra and Teddy claiming that this could be the official nail in the coffin for Vicki and Kelly? And if you had to guess what Vicki and Kelly's new show is going to be about, what would you guess? I mean, Kelly already talks about housewives with Rick on her show. And if Vicki doesn't watch the housewives, maybe it has nothing to do with the housewives. Maybe it has to do with their political beliefs or what's going on in the world. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if people will listen. I don't know. They might have a ton of listeners. I don't know, but I am curious. And that's why I wanted to pick your brains about this. Also, guys, thank you so much for joining us last night for Let's Whine About It. We had the best time. It was so much fun. That was our members only live where we get a little bit more personal. But on top of that, we have tomorrow, which is Wednesday, we get the Real Housewives of Dubai finale and the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That's always exciting. And we'll be back on Thursday to talk about all of it. We have a fun interview on Friday that I'll probably drop on Sunday. So there's a lot happening right now. And I just hope that you guys stick with us along for the ride. Along for the ride. Yes. All right, guys. Don't forget to smash that like button. Give your unfiltered opinions. And with that, we'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Love you.